Welcome back. Startling new numbers from the southern border are revealing the disastrous impact Biden's lax border policy is having on communities across the country. Fox News learning that over 2 million migrants have illegally crossed and been apprehended at the southern border for this fiscal year. And there are still 2 months to go. More than 2 million already. This comes as shocking new video shows federal agents unlocking a gate at the border to allow migrants to cross. Come on in. Meanwhile, as this is all unfolding, President Biden is having a wall built around his vacation home in Delaware, with Homeland Security paying for it. Homeland Security picking up the tab of $500,000 to build a wall around his house. This despite Biden refusing to continue building a wall at the southern border, which, of course, was started under President Trump. Joining me right now is the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, Winsome Sears. And Lieutenant Governor, it's a pleasure to see you once again. Welcome back to Sunday Morning Futures.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for having me, and good morning to your listeners.
Have you seen an impact on Virginia from the wide open border?
Well, you know, I think what Governor Greg Abbott is doing is exactly right. He's taking the fight to the people who say they care more about immigrants than anybody else, and that would be the Democrats. So he's shipping them to the places like D.C. and like New York. And of course, they're probably not staying in those areas. They're coming to Virginia. And that means they're going to be impacting our schools, which are already overburdened. We have teacher shortages. They're going to be impacting our housing, which, of course, the rents are sky high. And, of course, it's everything else, resources. Somebody has to pay for that, and that would be the taxpayers. And where are the resources supposed to come from? We're already being hit by inflation. Although inflation is down by a percentage point in Virginia, still, things are up. We know this. We don't need data points to tell us that bacon is high, gas is high, bread is high, everything is high. So something has to give. And I would advise the president to go down to the border, Mr. President, and see what's happening yourself, because that's what leaders do. You're building a $500,000 fence around your perimeter, and I don't begrudge you for that. You're the president. You deserve the security. But you can't have a fence, and the rest of us don't. The people at the border need a fence, Mr. President. Go see about them. Go see what's going on. That's what leaders do. You have sent people there. They've probably not told you the truth. Go see for yourself.
Unfortunately, Lieutenant Governor, it's not just the human trafficking where, you know, the cartels, these dangerous cartels are taking home $200 million a week. I mean, they are the ones in charge of who comes into America. It's just extraordinary, but it's also the drugs. Look at fentanyl and how it's killing American citizens. They have seized 10,000 pounds of fentanyl at the border just over the last year. Your thoughts on the amount of drugs, illicit narcotics, and the impact there in Virginia?
Well, this is what I'm saying to you. We have a drug problem here in Virginia where we've got so many overdoses. I even carry an overdose packet just in case I meet somebody who happens to need one. I have visited some of these places, and we need help. You keep asking yourself, is anybody listening to the people? Mr. President, are you there, sir? Do you know what the people who you represent need? Go and show up. Half of life is showing up. I went to our flood areas, and there was a 5-year-old. She's the daughter of granddaughter, actually, of one of our local senators. And she said to me that she saw the flood on television, but then she said, Mama took me, and it's nothing like you see on TV. Mr. President, if you're even watching the news, it's nothing like you see. Go see about the people that you claim to love, that your party claims to love. Go and show up. The people want to know that you care. Drugs are coming through our border. People are being trafficked. They're coming through our border. The children need your help. It shouldn't be that the people of Texas have to take it upon themselves to keep the whole country safe out of their own tax money. That shouldn't happen. Come on, Mr. President, you can do better than that.
I mean, it's interesting that, you know, the governor of New York and the mayor of New York and the mayor of Washington, D.C. are all complaining about this and blaming the governor of Texas, Abbott, Meanwhile, they should pick up the phone and call Joe Biden. Crime is spiking as well. We should point out that terrorists have been apprehended at the southern border. So everybody knows it's wide open time right now to come to America, including terrorists. No wonder crime is up in major cities. I know that homicides are also up in Virginia, but look at these numbers we have.
Yes.
What is the answer, Lieutenant Governor, to get our arms around all of the crime spikes and homicide spikes we're seeing in major cities today?
Ultimately, it boils down to elections. A former president said that elections have consequences, and we as Americans are going to have to make a decision. Are you going to still consider party, or are you going to consider what you're actually feeling in your neighborhoods? This no cash bail thing is nonsense. It's ridiculous. It's not working. If we could let the criminals out in those neighborhoods of those people who claim that no cash bail is racist, they would understand, because their homes would be broken into, their businesses would be broken into. Ultimately, they talked about defunding the police, and so it demoralized our law enforcement, and so many of them have left the profession. Now, we understand there are bad apples in every profession. We get rid of the bad police, we keep the good ones, and we run with them. In Virginia, we have our governor, Governor Youngkin, has set aside millions of dollars towards increasing the pay for our law enforcement to include Department of Corrections personnel. That's one thing. So elections have consequences. We don't have this no cash bail nonsense. And by the way, we need to get rid of our Commonwealth's attorneys who are not enforcing the law. We have laws on the books. For what purpose are they there if you're not going to enforce the law? So until those folks feel the pain, nothing will change. Elections, people, change everything.
And I know education to you changes everything as well. This has been a major focus for you. And yet here, too, bad policy in terms of CRT and focusing on issues away from strengthening our students to make them best compete with the Chinese, with all adversaries across the world as they get older.
I'm glad you've stated it that way when you talk about the Chinese, the Russians, etc., because that's what I've elevated our children not learning to. This is a national security crisis. When so many of our children are not learning, we're in trouble. We need STEM education. Heavens, we need children who can just read and write. How about that? And add 1 + 1. We don't have that. We are losing to the Chinas, to the Russians. Even Estonia is beating us in math. In science and technology, we're losing. We need to have education up here now. Education is a national security crisis, and until the leaders elevate it there, we're not going to get anywhere. But what are we really talking about? We're talking about the future of America. And when we talk about the future of America, we're talking about our children and grandchildren. Elections, they're about them. It's about a hope and a future. And we're not getting there, and we're not getting there very fast.
Really, really important points that you make. And fortunately, it does feel like a dangerous moment in time right now. Lieutenant Governor, we'll be watching your leadership as always. Thanks for being here this morning.